there, this is Erica from Ever Educating, and this channel is all about teaching tips, tools, ideas, and resources for college instructors or high school teachers. And today specifically, I'm talking about this new outline approach I'm taking with my papers for my students that I had a lot of success with. And so I wanted to recommend it to you as well, especially for those of you who are teaching literature or composition, though you could see how it applies to your own field as well. And so just to dive right in, the idea here is, you have these papers that your students are doing, and often the flow doesn't work very well, the transitions between paragraphs don't work very well. Like there's a few things that can really be easily strengthened just with some revising, but students aren't really aware of it until you give them feedback at the end of the project. And so what I've had my students do this semester is they turned in a paper outline, but it was very specific in its structure. So it started with their thesis, and then it had their topic sentences for their supportive paragraphs. So in my case, I'm teaching literary analysis, so they had to tell me, okay, what's your exploratory or argumentative thesis about the text that you're going to be writing about for your paper? And because it's a 4 to 5 page paper, tell me 4 to 6 topic sentences of the supportive paragraphs that will support your thesis. So I didn't want them to do too many because they have to deep dive and make sure they have details in their paragraphs, nor too few, so they have enough to make sure that, okay, you have enough ideas that you'll have enough for 4 to 5 pages. So that's why I had that 4 to 6 number for the topic sentences. But the key here is that part, right? The topic sentences. It's not just, here are 4 concepts or here are 6 ideas of what I'm going to talk about in relation to this fairy tale or this short story. It's, okay, I have my thesis, this is what I'm going to do, and then in my first supportive paragraph, here's how I'm starting it, right? And my next one, here's how I'm starting it. I'm proving to you that I have enough to really analyze in this text in the 4 to 5 pages that's required of me. So this worked out really well because when I got it back from students, I can give them tips on how to tweak it even more, their ideas. And if they gave me plot summaries for topic sentences rather than actual topic sentences, I said, okay, you know what, let's meet one-on-one, right? This isn't exactly the path we want to take. You don't start with summary, you start with what's the main idea that you're analyzing in individual paragraphs, right? Or if they gave me sentences that I couldn't really make sense of, you know what, let's meet one-on-one to make sure you have a better sense of how to create these elements of the analysis paper. So before I've done just like outlines, like here are your ideas, right? And then make sure you structure them, that they work well, flow well from one to another. And that worked fine, but I'm really liking this approach of, specifically tell me what each paragraph, the sentence that will start them. And we'll really make sure that you understand how to structure these elements of the analysis paper. So just to give you a sense of how it looks, this is the Canvas assignment paper outline. Rather than text box or PDF, I recommend doing just PDF because you can't actually type in feedback on the text box, so it's easier to do it if it's just a PDF. But as I said, right, so thesis statement, 4 to 6 topic sentences. This can be more or less depending on how long your paper is. And then I have an actual example from one of the texts we read in class, which was the Grimm version of Snow White. And so I show, okay, here's a thesis that I'm just exploring something. And then here are examples of topic sentences that have transition phrases and that focus on connecting to the thesis and not just giving a plot summary point or a direct quote from the actual fairy tale. First, give a sense of what the paragraph is about. And so I have this, and then they just submit their own versions with the text that they are studying. All right, so this is a really short video, but I was so excited about this because, again, it went really well, and it really showed me who do I need to talk to one-on-one to make sure that they kind of shift into the right path for when they turn in their paper at the end. So obviously less work for me at the end when grading because I know that they have good topic sentences that they're going to be using to guide their analysis. If you want more tips on how to teach literary analysis, I do have a video now on screen that shows that, as well as some other videos below tied to teaching writing and teaching these kind of ideas as well. So go ahead and check those out too. If you haven't subscribed yet, now's your chance, and click like as well to let me know that you appreciated this video.